Hiroshima survivor Asae Miyakoshi was in the bathroom when the Hiroshima bomb went off and the bathroom collapsed around her, and she finally got out with the help of someone else and found her sister dreadfully injured, mostly from the heat of these bombs. That's one thing they had that the regular conventional bombs didn't. There was almost a flash. Some people describe it like a bluish white, like a flashbulb flash, and it would burn you. Like the worst sunburn all the way to the bone you've ever seen. But funnily enough, it was so quick that if you had clothing on, especially light clothing, you could be perfectly protected under the clothing and your skin falling off everywhere else. And this woman describes getting out of this bathroom after it collapsed around her and what happened next. And remember, this could be your wife or your mother or your sister or your daughter. Quote, "Looking around for my sister, I saw her lying sprawled in the corridor, the right side of her body covered with terrible burns. She had probably been washing her hands, with her right hand stretched over the wash basin when caught by the searing heat. I put my sister on my back and fled barefoot to Hiroshima Park. Her face was festering from her burns and her right eye was hanging out. I pushed the eye back into its socket and tried to use a gauze mask to hold it into place, but her ear had melted away and there was nothing to attach the mask to. Her mouth was twisted to the right, and she could do no more than whimper for water, only the first syllable of the word emerging distinctly. On reaching Hiroshima Park, I laid my sister down on the ground and set off to search for my children. The fires were still burning fiercely. In a streetcar that had been burned bright red, surrounded by people already killed by the fire, I saw a woman still holding on to a strap and calling for help. The intense heat prevented me from approaching her, however. There was nothing I could do. To a man sitting on some stone steps, I said, 'Come on, let's get away from here,' and pulled him up by the hand. But as I did so, the skin came away from his hand, and he fell slowly to the ground. I could see his shadow imprinted clearly on the wall behind him where he had been sitting. Many people called out to me for help or water. Unburned because of having been in the lavatory, I could only bring my hands together and apologize to the people I passed as I searched for some sign of my children. As it turned out, none of those who left that morning ever came home again. Not my 5 children, my grandfather, my sister Michiko, or my cousin. Not a bone remained for me to find and treasure. Our house burned down so that I had not even a photograph to remember them by. My sister Hisako drew her last breath 4 days later on the evening of August 10th in agony from her massive injuries. I will never forget the expression on her face when I tried to give her a drop of water. I was alone." End quote.